Hi, I'm Ashley from Sunny Maid, and we are on week 2 of our Jacob's Ladder quilt. Welcome back. Week 2, we're putting together a Jacob's Ladder quilt. Just so you know what's going on, you have 6, we are making 6 half square triangles and 3 4 patches for each of our quilt blocks. And we are on week 2. Last week, I taught you how to do 4 at a time. 4 at a time, just kidding. 8 at a time, half square triangles. And you should have come back. Your homework this week was to sew your 8 at a time half square triangles. You should have 27 of these all ready to be cut and trimmed. So this week we are going to cut them and trim them. You can spend the week trimming them. That does take a little bit. And then next week I'm going to teach you how to make 4 at a time, not 4 at a time. We are going to make 4 patches. So get your block that you just sewed together, and we are going to trim them. I like to use this ruler. It's put out by Missouri Star Quilt Company. They actually made this specifically for layer cakes. And it is long enough that it'll go diagonal to diagonal, and it's the perfect 5 inches across, so which is half of our layer cake square. We are going to start off by trimming on the diagonal right where we drew our lines. We're going corner to corner. Next, we are going to cut it in half, both vertically and horizontally. So line up your ruler on the left side. Of course, that is if you're right-handed. Line it up on the left side and then line it up with a measurement line on the bottom and draw it top to bottom. Make sure that your pieces aren't moving, because if they move, it's going to be hard to get them cut nicely. Carefully pick up your ruler. You are going to line it up against the bottom edge, and on the right side of your fabric, again, we're cutting it 5 inches, which is right down the middle, and we're trimming that left and right. Now, I'm going to get you a close-up so you can see what we're doing. Now that you have it all trimmed, you should have 8 different pieces. It is now time to go iron your pieces. I would recommend doing them if you're not going to iron them open, do it towards your darker fabric. I'm going to do it towards my background fabric so that they're all going in the same direction. How I would do that is I would place my triangle with my background up and set my seam, finger press it open, and then iron it again so that all of the seams are going towards that background fabric. Go get that done and come right back and we will trim them all up. Okay, so here we have our block. It's all been sewn. We are going to first lay this corner to corner. See, I moved it and it got all, it messed it up a little bit. Okay, corner to corner. Let's get these all back together. Then we're going to line this up. I'm putting this 12 line right along the edge and this line right along this edge. Make sure all my things stay in the same spot. Then we're gonna, once again, I line up the bottom edge with the 12 there, and this edge with the edge of my ruler, hold it down, and now you have 8 half square triangles. Once again, when you go to press them, put your background up, press it, finger press it open, and then press it again, and you will have a beautiful half square triangle. Go get those done, and then we will get them all trimmed up. I unfortunately didn't get a video of me trimming half square triangles, so now you can watch me do it in super speed as I walk you through it. I am using a 4.5 inch square ruler. We want to trim all of these to 4.5 inches. So what I'm actually doing is lining up that center diagonal of our half square triangle with the diagonal line on my ruler. I do a quick trim on the right and the top. I then am going to flip the half square triangle around 180 degrees, and I'm going to line up those edges. Oh, I got to change out my blade here real quick, but I'm going to line up those bottom left and the bottom edges with my ruler at 4.5 inches and do a final trim on your right and top edges. I do have a video that goes into more in depth on how to trim half square triangles. So I will make sure I link that in the description box below in case you want a better video than what I could offer at this time. Okay, so we want to make sure that you are trimming all of those half square triangles to 4.5 inches. So let's review. Last week, we took 27 pattern, 27 background. We are making 8 at a time half square triangles, and we just did the sewing. That's what you should have done last week. This week, we are trimming them into the 8 half square triangles and trimming them down to 4.5 inches, and we're ironing them open. Make sure you are ironing them all the same way. I did mine towards the background fabric. Now, in each block, we need 6 half square triangles and 3 4 patches, which is what we're going to learn next week. So total, we are going to need 216 half square triangles. I had to think about that for a second. Sorry about that. 216 half square triangles. That's how many we should have when we're done at trimming them all up. Okay. Any questions, make sure to leave them down in the description box below. I would love to come back and answer them. I also would love to see what you are working on. So find me over on Instagram, Ashley_SunnyMade. Tag me in your posts. I want to see what you're doing. I would love to see the project we're working on together or a project that you're working on by yourselves. Just tag me. I want to see what's going on. And last but not least, of course, show and tell time. Last week, I was working on the quilt for my mother-in-law. For Christmas, I got it all done. I sewed on the binding. I'll give you a close-up here in a second. It turned out beautiful. In case you want to know where I got it, it was a kit from Craftsy. They are not the same company as when that kit was bought. They went out of business a couple years ago, so you can only get classes, I think, now through them. I'm not really sure. It started off at a 92-inch square, and I made it bigger to 114 so that it would sit on a king-size bed. It was fabric line Moulin Rouge. It's that red and beigey, absolutely beautiful. Other than that, that's all I have going on. I hope you are having a great time sewing along. I want to see your projects, and I will see you next week. Happy sewing!